Hello there guys, I'm Unstable Voltage and welcome to my tutorial for Europa Universalis for Mare Nostrum. In this video, I'm going to be covering the new reworked espionage system. If you're completely new to Europa Universalis 4, I'd highly recommend that you go and check out my Common Sense tutorial series. Those are longer videos, but they will show you the basics of the game's mechanics and at least get you to a point where you can play the game competently. If you'd like to check that series out, the link is in the description below the video, and you should also be able to click on the card that should be in the top right hand corner of the screen now. Now, espionage has always been a part of EU4, but it's always been quite weak, and there's always been an espionage idea group as well, which not a lot of people used to bother taking because it was more of a filler idea group, and most of the other idea groups were much better. But the thing that's going to affect everybody who is playing Mare Nostrum is the way that you actually fabricate claims has changed. So in the past, if you wanted to fabricate a claim on a neighbouring province, you would just go to that nation, you would go to your covert actions, and you would have this fabricate claim button, which as you can see currently for me at the moment it is greyed out, and you would just send one of your diplomats to a nation and you would work on creating a claim. Now it would take a certain amount of time for that claim to be created, which had various different modifiers that could slow it down or speed it up. If you were trying to fabricate a claim against a rival, it would be faster. There's also a chance that you could get discovered. Fabricating against a rival was less likely to get discovered, but if you did get discovered while fabricating a claim, it would increase the remaining time by 400%, so it was always bad getting caught, and you would also get some aggressive expansion with that nation as well. But as you can see, this is now greyed out. There's a lot of new things here in the list as well under covert actions, but the two important ones, or at least the main important one, is this one here, build spy network. Just before we start, I'm just going to go ahead and set myself some rivals. I want Aragon. Definitely Aragon. Well, that's all we need really, but we'll just go and rival England as well, just so we have enough rivals sorted out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to right click on Aragon. And because we can't actually click any of these buttons, what we need to do is build a spy network. Build a network of spies and informers in the target country. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, build a spy network in Aragon, and it gives us some information here. This will send a diplomat to build up a network of spies and informants in Aragon and their subjects, Naples. This will increase the size of our spy network by 1.78 each month. Now, when you build a spy network size can go from 0 to 100. So it's going to take, we're going to get 1.78 each month. So it'll take a while to get up to 100. While our agent is active and the spy network is larger than 25, there is a 2.12% risk of discovery each month. If we are discovered, it will damage relations with the target country, reduce the size of the network, and prevent us from further growing it for a while. So as you can see, our base speed for actually gaining growth on the spy network is 1.5. That's the base, 1.5 per month. Because Aragon is our rival, we get 25% increase on that speed. There's also a distance multiplier as well. The further away somebody is, the slower it is to build a spy network. We're going to go ahead and click confirm, and that will send our spy over here to Aragon, and they're now going to start working on a spy network. We're also going to go down and do the same thing to Granada. And as you can see here, we don't have the 25% modifier for being a rival, but we still have this distance modifier, so it's actually 1.43 per month. So we don't gain quite as much, but we'll send one down to Granada. If we were to try and build a spy network somewhere further away, such as Burgundy, for example, as you can see, that distance multiplier is going down even more because they're further away, so the speed that we build the network would be even slower. And then if we go and find someone who's like really, really far away, as you can see here, looking at Lithuania, 0.97 each month. We don't want to send anybody that far away. So I'm just going to go ahead and unpause the game. I'll just put the speed up a little bit just to let it tick while I talk through. So, and obviously a lot of things are going to be sort of popping up. We're going to be getting alliance options and all kinds of things here. So if we look at... this is the only thing about unpausing the game. You do tend to get all of these pop-ups. So we can see the progression that we're already getting on the spy networks in these two countries. And while the spy network is less than 25, like I said, it goes up to 100. While it is less than 25, we cannot get discovered. There's 0% chance of getting discovered while you are at less than 25. Now, once you go above 25, there is that percentage chance of getting discovered each month. If you are discovered, your diplomat will be kicked out of that country, and you will not be allowed to go back and start working on a spy network with that country for the next 5 years. So if you get discovered, you get kicked out. You can't go back to building a spy network for 5 more years. Also, whatever the size of your spy network, it will get reduced down to the nearest multiplier of 25. So if you had, if your spy network was 98, it'll go down to 75. If your spy network was 74, it'll go down to 50. If your spy network was 43, it'll go down to 25, and so on. Obviously, it's never going to go down below 25, because if you're below 25, you won't get caught in the first place. You also take a bit of a relations penalty with that country for getting caught as well. Now, while you don't have a diplomat building a spy network, because you could, if you wanted to, recall your diplomat and get them doing something else, while you recall your diplomat from a nation, the spy network that you have with them will start to tick down. So it ticks down relatively slowly, but bringing back your diplomat from someone that you're building a spy network with will cause that to tick down. So now we've actually started to get some traction here with Aragon. We're still only at 12.53, but it's getting there. So let's go and have a look at some of these options here. So first of all, we can stop building the spy network. We can bring our spy back if we wanted to, or bring our diplomat back. We've also got counter-espionage. This sends a diplomat to conduct counter-espionage in the target country. Now, the point of doing that is if you believe somebody is spying on you and you send someone into their country to do counter-espionage, it greatly increases the chance that you will catch them. So if you suspect somebody is spying on you and you want to try and stop it, and you've got a free diplomat, especially if they're not doing anything useful, you can send your diplomat to go and do counter-espionage. So we've got the rest of these buttons. Fabricate claim is obviously one that you're all going to know. That's how you get the claims on a neighbouring province. Fabricate a claim on a neighbouring province will reduce the size of the Aragonese spy network by 10. So in order to fabricate a claim, you need to have 10 spy network points for each claim. We've also got support rebels. Support rebels is basically like it used to be in the sort of previous version of the game, where you increase the chance of a rebel faction that's already active within that nation of actually rising up to fight. Supporting rebels, though, does cost 60 spy network points. There's the option to steal maps, which you need 50 spy network points to do, and basically you do need full espionage ideas to be able to use that. And what that basically allows you to do is, if the nation you're spying on has uncovered some territory that you haven't, stealing maps from them will basically reveal what they've revealed. It's kind of pointless. I can't see why anyone would ever use that, and the fact that you need full espionage to use it and 50 spy network points, it's just not reasonable. Justify trade conflicts, again, something that's been in the game for quite a while now that people don't ever really use. Allows you to justify a trade conflict against someone who threatens your trade. So if you've got somebody who's embargoing you or has a lot of trade power in the node, you can basically turn it into a CB. Again, kind of pointless. So discontent, now this requires the idea destabilizing efforts, which are part of the espionage idea group. It also costs 80 spy network points, and sowing discontent basically allows you to increase the revolt risk in all of the nation. Then you've got sabotage reputation, which requires rumour mongering, again another idea in the espionage idea group, and it requires 60 points to use, and that basically will reduce that nation's diplomatic reputation. Most of these actions that you can do last for 5 years. Infiltrate administration, again, requires espionage and costs 40 points, and that basically lifts the fog of war on that nation for 5 years. Agitate for liberty only works against a subject nation, such as a vassal or a colonial nation, and it requires the destabilizing efforts idea, and basically that will increase their liberation desire. Sabotage recruitment costs 80 points and requires the shady recruitment idea, and that basically reduces their manpower recovery. Then you've got slander merchants, which requires 70 points from the spy network, and that also requires rumor mongering, and that will actually reduce their trade power for 5 years. And then you've got corrupt officials, which needs espionage idea, and corrupt officials actually increases corruption within the target nation, and corruption is something that we will talk about in another video, because that is part of the 1.16 patch, and everyone's going to have that regardless of whether or not they have the expansion. So there is actually a chance. I'm just going to pause up now because we've got to a point where we've almost got 40 spy network points with Aragon. We've also got 31 down here with Granada. So I'm just going to pause the game for now, so nothing else happens. You can also always check how big your spy network is with a nation. It's this little icon here. So it's the guy with the eye patch. So 31 points. It's rounded off, of course, on this screen. But we've got 31 points here. If you mouse over it, does tell you. Now, some of the useful things that you do get, and as you can see, looking at Granada, we gain a 6.2% siege ability against Granada and a minus 3.1% aggressive expansion penalty against Granada. Now, that is because we have a spy network there, and it scales with the size of the spy network. If you get your spy network up to 100% with a nation, you get 20% siege ability and minus 10% aggressive expansion with them, and obviously it scales in between. Now, there's also the defensive efficiency for spies and the offensive efficiency. So as you can see here, Granada is defended at 105.6% efficiency, and that determines their chance of catching our spy. And that's because of their prestige and stability. And our spies just operate at 100%. If we go and look at the same thing for Aragon, we can see that their country is only defended at 100.9 because they don't have the same positive stability that Granada does. So you used to have a thing called spy offense, and your spy offense is now basically, what do they call it now? It's basically your ability to build the spy network. We can actually see it if we look at the espionage idea group, which we should take a quick look at. So these are the new espionage ideas. So the first thing you get is vetting, and that allows you to use the study technology action. And it also gives you a 33% chance to detect foreign spies. So that will increase your sort of spy defensiveness, as it were. Then you've got efficient spies, gives you an extra diplomat, which is quite nice because you can use the diplomat for other things other than building a spy network. And it also gives you plus 50% spy network construction, so it's a fair bit faster. Then you've got privateers, which gives you embargo and privateering efficiency, which is not all that useful. Then you've got rumour mongering, that's the one that allows you to use the sabotage, reputation and slander merchants ability. You've got shady recruitment, which is the one that allows you to sabotage their manpower, but it also gives you a covert action relationship impact of minus 33%. So if you get caught building a spy network, it's not going to be as harmful. Then you get destabilizing efforts, which is the one that allows you to sow discontent and agitate for liberty. And then you get espionage, the final idea in the group, which allows you to infiltrate the administration and corrupt officials. Plus the finisher is the one that allows you to steal maps, and it also gives you an extra 50% in your support efficiency. So that's the espionage idea group. Now, one thing I don't like about this new espionage system is you've got all of these really cool things that you can do. I mean, most of them are probably way too expensive that you're ever really going to want to bother with them. But the fact that you can only use these if you take the espionage idea groups, I think that's a little bit weak. Personally, I think it would have been much better if these were available to every player and every nation, regardless of whether or not you have espionage ideas. But the espionage idea group should make those things more effective. It should give them a bonus, but you should still be allowed to do them, even if you don't have the espionage idea group. So, as I said at the beginning of this video, the important thing is the ability to fabricate a claim against somebody. So that's what we're going to do. So let's say here we want to take Granada. We have 30 points, or 31.46 points against Granada. Now, yes, I know that there is a mission that allows you to reconquer Granada and get free claims on it all, but this is just to prove a point. So if we have a look here, we don't have claims on any of Granada, and I want claims on their provinces. Now, we have 30 points, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go Fabricate Claim, and I've got the option I can claim any of these 3 provinces, because we border them all. And we can fabricate a claim on Almeria. It will decrease our spy network by 10 and give us a claim. The claim lasts 25 years. If I just go and click on that, we now have a claim on Almeria. I can now go and get claims on those other 2 provinces. The game's paused. I've just got 3 claims on 3 provinces all on the same day. And you'll also notice that it was instant. I didn't actually have to send a diplomat there. Yes, I've already got a diplomat there, but I didn't have to send a diplomat, wait for him to get back, and then wait 28 days to send him again. So it's the 11th of September. If I just go ahead and unpause the game, it's now the 12th of September, and we have a CB against Granada. I can now declare war. So within the space of 2 days, I fabricated 3... Well, obviously it took longer to build the spy network, but Granada didn't know that this was coming. And within the space of 2 days, I've got claims on 3 of their provinces and declared war against them. So, obviously we have a truce with them anyway, but this is the good thing about the new espionage system. It allows you to kind of sit at peace and not annoy a neighbour, and then all of a sudden you can go to that neighbour and you can go... Do you know what? I want to claim all of these provinces. And then the very following day, you can declare war on them. I mean, if we wanted to here, we could even wait 1 more month against Aragon. Because we've almost got another 10 points with them. We're at 9.38. There we go, 11.17. So we can go and fabricate claim, pick another province. Now we've got 4 claims against Aragon. Let's go on to the next day. Okay, I've picked some sort of derpy configuration, but I've got 4 claims against them, and now I can instantly go to them and declare war. So it is quite a nice system, because it means you don't have to have your diplomat tied up. This is the problem that you always had with fabricating a claim before. If you were 90% of the way through fabricating a claim, let's say you were fabricating claims and you were in a war, and you want to peace out. You really want to peace out, but you can't because your diplomats are all busy fabricating claims. They're all on 80-90%. You don't want to stop them because you will lose all that progress. So you sit there at war for even longer, taking more attrition and bleeding more money while you're waiting for your diplomats to finish the claim. And it's even worse if they've been caught because they'll take ages. But what you can do now, if you're building up a spy network with somebody, you can build up a spy network. As you can see, we've got our spy network here with Granada. Let's just let this tick up a little bit more because it's still only at 2.89. So we'll let it go up to the next month. Yeah, whatever. So there we go, 4.32 on Granada. What we can do now is we can stop building a spy network and we can bring back our diplomat. Now, if we look at Granada, we can see we do still have some points here. We do still have our spy network. And we can now go and send our diplomat back. So you can be building a spy network. And as you can see, because I sent him back before the end of the month, I still got the points. So this is a great thing that you can do. Wait until the end of the month when you get your tick on the network. Bring the diplomat back. Send him off to go and get your peace deal or whatever. And then put him back building the spy network again. You can interrupt that spy network building. It's absolutely fine. And even if you are to bring that spy back, it does tick down, but it ticks down relatively slowly. So currently we have 6.54 with Aragon. We're no longer working on them. So we'll let the month tick, and we're now down to 5.54. So we lose sort of 1 per month. But the great thing with this is it means that you can take a maximum of 10 claims all at once, because it's 10 points per claim, and you can only have a maximum of 100 points, but it means you can get 10 claims against a country all at the same time and then declare war on them the next day. So it's going to be a really interesting change to the way that fabricating claims and diplomacy as a whole actually works in EU4, and I haven't really played with it a lot yet, so I don't know exactly how it's going to affect the game, but I do think it's quite an interesting idea, and it's a very bold move considering they've changed the way that such a fundamental mechanic works that's always worked a very particular way in EU4 right since the game first came out, and now they've got to made a big change to it. So yeah, that is going to be an interesting one. Either way, I hope that this tutorial has explained to you a little bit more about the new espionage system and building spy networks, so that you at least can go and get claims and start to declare war against your neighbours. So in the next video, I'll be covering the corruption system and the condottieri system, and then we'll have covered most of the basics. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and until next time, goodbye for now.